Jake, what is your takeaway from this? How did you see those last 5 minutes where you're up 5 and then at 15-6 they close?
Yeah, I thought we had one defensive breakdown where we lacked communication and got confused, and Galloway hit a big three. That was costly. Outside of that, our maybe lack of completing plays. I thought our mistakes were aggressive. We played aggressive. We got a little too deep in the paint there a couple times, and didn't trust maybe the kick out like we've done so well here these last couple games. But I thought our mistakes were aggressive, and aside from that one defensive possession, and got to give him credit. I mean, Galloway's 2 threes were huge. They were huge. The 3 hit at the end of the clock. He misses that. Who knows? It's a big time shot, and so. I felt like, as well as we've played offensively and really thought we did some good things offensively for majority of this game, down the stretch, we didn't quite have the movement that we've had that's helped us be really successful and made us really hard to guard. They were really physical on the perimeter with our guards to disrupt, our rhythm, and this was specifically on our end, it was a very physical game. So, we fought, we adjusted, we attacked the paint. Thought there were a couple times we deserved to get to the free throw lines, the way the game was going to be called, but we didn't. And, ultimately, right at the end, we just didn't quite trust that extra pass well enough.
When you talk about not having maybe the movement that you wanted or that you had until that point in the game, was that a fatigue thing? Was that the moment getting big? Like, what do you attribute that to?
It's been something, Adam, we've been fighting for all year. Because it's not instinctual for a couple guys, and we've improved significantly. I mean, you guys have watched us a lot. We've improved significantly in that regard. I don't know. I didn't feel looking out there that we were any tired than we've been the last couple games at end of games. I feel like our recovery and how we've managed the time in between games has been really good. So, again, you got to give Indiana some credit defensively. I thought their physicality defensively was really good, and ultimately, again, like we said, they stepped up, hit some big time shots. We just couldn't quite make enough plays offensively. Aside from that one defensive breakdown, I thought we were pretty connected there down the stretch defensively too.
What in particular do you feel that they did with Bruce and Judy? It felt like they were getting opportunities, but I think they ended up combining 2 of 12 on threes. Just what were they doing to maybe take them out of any type of rhythm to get anything going?
Yeah, played really physical with them. Played really physical with them. Fought with physicality to prevent them from getting separation on ball screens, and then force them, really into crowds in the paint. And again, you got to give them credit because I thought their physicality on the ball was really impactful, and those 2 guys have been, our highest usage playmakers. And when they were with their physicality, we weren't able to get them in rotation as much, Steve, as we wanted to, and we needed to do a better job of fighting that with, and we had some counters to things to help loosen us up a little bit. And I thought those guys, without watching the film, it felt like majority of their threes were solid looks. Out of the 12. So, but those 2 guys, they battled really hard all game.
Jake, so they got 5 different guys had at least 2 offensive rebounds. They had 14, and Ballo really wasn't the biggest one on the offensive glass. When you review the film and stuff in the next day or 2, and you look at that, is that guy's not getting man? Is that effort? Like, how does that happen across the board?
Yeah, it feels like, we get caught ball watching at times. And, again, especially with some of our young guys, there's some habits that they've been fighting to break this year. And, this game requires, extreme physicality. And you can oftentimes get away with a lot when the shot goes up. And then there were times where we actually did box out really well and we didn't secure the ball. I mean, it felt like at least 2 or 3 times we didn't secure the ball when we had great rebounding position. But, we got some guys who are a little too lenient on our athleticism and rebounding and not lenient enough on our physicality. It's something we work on rebounding every single day. And, there was a stretch there where we were doing much better and our defense was better because of it. and we've also gotten in trouble a couple times with guys shooting and then cleaning up their own miss, and that's again a technique we practice every single day. So I do think our guys, our effort is not the issue. I think our awareness at times we get caught staring, and instead of going to create more space for us to rebound down the floor by going and initiating contact further out on the floor, we wait too much, for guys to come hit us.
I know you say all the time, be your best late. Today you guys got one made bucket in the last 9 minutes. When you practice that and you tell them be your best late, like how do you specifically teach that and prioritize that?
Yeah, great question. So we there's a couple different ways we'll do it. It's shooting game shots, at the end of practice when you're fatigued. It's executing our end of game package, most every single day. It's sometimes it's putting scenarios on the clock, right, and playing out a scenario to get practice. Do we foul? Do we don't foul? What are we running? We have no timeouts. We have a timeout. So we put 48 seconds on the clock, up 2, down 3, right? So we do a bunch of different scenarios as well. Sometimes it's reviewing, specifically 5-on-0, press break, and things like that. Sometimes it's against scout team and doing that as well. So, that's when we talk about that, and really, again, I want our guys to be aggressive. We play to win. We don't play safe. We play to win. And I thought we did that. I just felt like, we didn't trust our ball movement enough in that segment, and ultimately, they just made a couple more shots than we did down the stretch.
Jake, when you were up 5 to go, I'm looking at my play-by-play here, and it was like Micah has a turnover, Devin misses free throws, Junie misses a 3, Devin turns it over, Junie. Like, it wasn't just like one guy.
Yeah, it was a rough segment for us right there.
Yeah. So when that's happening, it's like let's get the ball to Devin, have him drive. He turns it over. Junie misses. Like, what are you trying to coach your guys through in that moment to where someone's going to make the play and stop a stretch?
Yeah, well, we've been diversifying kind of who we go to right at the end of game, and honestly, when those things happen, the focus is going to get a stop on the other end, right? Like we got to move on quickly, and then we called some action to try to get us a little bit more movement, to build in some of that movement we talked about. And I got a great deal of trust in those guys, and I'd like to say we're not going to be in this situation again, but chances are the way this year's gone, we probably will. And our execution has gotten better. We got the ball in the paint a couple times, and instead of playing with a little more poise and kicking it back out to put a team in a long closeout or to get an open shot, we just tried to force some things up, and those were a couple of our turnovers. So, I think for us, it's been this has been a growing process for us, and we've had a lot of games like this. We've been a lot better, and tonight we just didn't quite have enough of our ability to kind of make those plays that maybe they did down the stretch, and it ended up being the difference.
Not sure you addressed this perhaps after this game or immediately, but when you get back to Columbus and you start pointing toward going to Indianapolis, I assume your thought is to just go and play the best game you could possibly play on Wednesday and come back, and if you win, come back and try and do it again. There'll be a lot of big picture talk outside your program about what you need to do, but what do you think you need to do, I guess, going forward?
Yeah, we got to win on Wednesday, And listen, this league deserves a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. I mean, this is an absolute gauntlet of a league. And I think teams need to be rewarded for scheduling hard in the non-conference, which we did. And, this was, in my opinion, this was a game between two NCAA tournament teams. I mean, it was a high-level game that, maybe there wasn't the shot making we've seen in the last game, which was between two high-level teams. But, this was a high-level game, a tough, physical, game. And our team deserves, whatever that number is, 10, 11 teams, our team deserves double-digit teams in the – our league, deserves double-digit teams in the NCAA tournament. I mean, and especially, again, if you're hovering close to 500 in this league, you've got a lot of quality wins. And so, Yeah, we're focused on Wednesday. I know Wednesday is really important. Make no mistake about that. I understand that. But this, based on, and I'll take a deeper dive into Steve and maybe get you a better answer, because I've honestly really tried to focus on the task. I'm not trying to run from it, because it is, I understand it's really, really important, and we need to get a win on Wednesday. So our focus, though, is to live in the moment. There's a championship to be won in the Big Ten tournament. And we want to go out there, use this time now between now and Wednesday to get ready to play our best basketball. And our best basketball is being really tough and connected. Thought we did that, playing with joy, thought we did that, but we just didn't quite trust each other offensively there in the second half, like we've been doing so well. But I think that team that we just played deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. I think we deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. Our league deserves a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. Strength of schedule needs to matter. And so, but we got to control what we can control and go get ready for Wednesday.
Yeah, Coach, Bruce went down for a little bit, and kind of towards the end of the game, he was limping and wincing a bit. Do you know what happened there?
It seemed just like a tough, really hard foul. I think it was like a ball in the air. Guy ran into him, probably hit the ground pretty hard, but he said he was good to go. So I think that, if I remember, it was the play he got fouled on is the one you're talking about across from their bench, right? Yep. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Speaking of Bruce, he was 2 of 10 today, struggled a little bit. What did Indiana do to really challenge him when the ball is in his hands? And I guess I'm sure you're confident in him going forward.
Yeah.
But, how does it impact this team when Bruce struggles at the top?
Well, I think you've seen now we've kind of had 4 guys emerge, and offensively for us, and have been really all 4 of them have been dynamic and had some big time games. It's made us really hard to guard. Today we didn't quite have enough of those guys have those level of games, but I thought their physicality on Bruce was impactful. They mixed up their ball screen coverage at times. They committed the big longer for most of the game. There were times still I thought he was able to get in the lane, and quite honestly, he deserves more free throws. Like I don't know why he doesn't get to the free throw line more and why he's allowed to be played with so much physicality against him. I think he deserved today to get to the free throw line a couple times. It's not like a huge dramatic, but there were a couple times he deserved to get to the free throw line. And the shooter needs to be protected in the paint, as is most every time. And felt there were a couple times that he deserved to get to the line. But give him credit; they played it with a ton of physicality on him. And Bruce, we know, is a physical player. He's a physical player, so I don't want to take anything away from what Indiana did. And I also have huge, great, unbelievable confidence in Bruce Thornton, right, moving into to the Big Ten tournament. So he's done an unbelievable job for us all season long. His leadership has been great. He's hit big-time shots for us. He'll respond. He'll respond well.
What do you think this team takes now going forward? I mean, where do you think you guys are mentally? I know the game just ended. There's a couple days, but this is a pretty tough loss that could have certainly gone the other way.
Yeah.
Where do you think you guys are coming out of it?
Yeah, I mean, we're disappointed in the result today. There's no question about it, and we should be. And we've when we've lost this year, I don't believe in, I think we've talked to you guys about it, right? Like, we learn and we grow. We don't hide from it, right? We own it. There were some things we needed to do better today. Give Indiana credit, but there were some things we needed to do better today. We'll review that, to help us learn and get ready to play our best in the Big Ten tournament. But we're disappointed in the result, frustrated we didn't get the result we wanted. This group has responded all season long. We'll be ready. We'll be ready for Wednesday, and I think we're going to respond, like we have all season.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.